Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over the process of how to design and print something in a CAD software up until it actually prints on the printer. The project we're going to be working on today is going to be a neon-esque sign. As you can see in the background, I'm finding a font as a good reference that I can use later when designing it, and you'll see that in the background as I tell you about my setup. I am using the Elegoo Neptune 4 Plus printer, as well as some white PLA in the back as the filament. Both have served me really well. I enjoy using them. They'll be here on screen and a link in the bio. And for the next little bit, I'll be showing you the process of how to start designing, how to go over it, how to get something from just a simple picture. Alright everyone, as you can see, I've pulled in the reference photos into what's called a CAD software, a computer-aided design. I'm using a free online one called Onshape. It served me great, that's where I learned how to CAD mostly, and what you use CAD software for is to turn something like this, for example, you can see me tracing, into a 3D object that the computer can understand and you can send to your 3D printer so it can, well, print it. For this, usually it's more blocky. You're doing something more structured and general 3D printing, but as a font, I have a lot of curves and stuff like that, so I am doing a lot of stuff by hand, where normally you can just pull out a square or something like that. And you can see my process. I get a bit in here where I accidentally don't fill it in, so like using a fill tool in MS Paint or something like that, it doesn't quite fill in all the way. This blue object you see here is a physical shape that you could print out. It is full. I've done something called extruding, where you take it from a 2D plane and turn it into a 3D plane. You choose how far out it goes. The sketch determines the shape, but the shape is what you can send to the printer. And right here I realized I didn't build it to scale at first, so I was figuring how big I wanted it, what size, anything like that, and I figured it would be about 1 foot by 40 inches would look good. Not too small, not too big on my wall, and I could cut the letters individually, which is why they're different colors here. But I also want a back plate, somewhere I can mount the object on the wall, not just have free floating letters, but as something to support. I could stick the lights to probably. And so that's what you see me doing here. I'm trying to outline basically all of it, so I can create something that's not the exact same size, but something only slightly bigger. Had to redo a couple steps, just because for some reason it wasn't working with me, kept giving me errors, so I had to do some of it by hand, but I got it working eventually. Realized I wanted a more full B, so you'll see me take care of that in a second. I don't have that empty space in the middle, but that'll be filled in. Now here, I've moved into what's called a slicer software. Slicer software is something where you put an object that you've created in a CAD software that was working before, and this cuts up into little slices, into little what's called layers, because you can't just import an object to a 3D printer and it'll just make it. You need a specialized software since a 3D printer prints it layer by layer upon each other. This software will break up an object and then show it how to, or tell the printer how to do each layer individually. And you'll see that later once I show you the actual printing process, because here, making sure all works, making sure it looks how I want it, and then I'll hit slice in the top right after I move some things around. It will go show the color, show the time, process how much filament it's going to use, and then once I hit print, it will send over to the printer, and that can get started. And here we go, it's the final result. I've fitted it with some lights just to see how it looks, and I think it looks great. Obviously there's just one letter, I have to still print the background and the other letters, see how they work, see where I can do a whole bunch of other stuff. But it's the first step, and that's the full process from beginning idea to getting something on your printer. Thank you all for watching.